How's it going, everyone? Vlad here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be discussing a very important topic when it comes to manufacturing, careers in manufacturing, and manufacturing operations in general. And that's going to be the different roles, different departments, different positions, as well as the different executions when it comes to a manufacturing facility, but a manufacturing business as a whole. So in a previous video, I talked about control systems engineering, and naturally, though, it's going to be one single chain link in what is manufacturing. And ultimately, I wanted to expand on that in quite a bit of detail and talk about different roles and essentially explain to you what you could expect from your career, but also if you're looking maybe to get into manufacturing, if you're managing a manufacturing type of an operation. So without any further delay, I do want to give a brief disclaimer. This is based on my experience, having visited dozens upon dozens of different plants, but of course it's going to be maybe different in different markets. It's going to be slightly different in industries. It's going to be different between small, medium, and large companies. So of course, some adjustments or some flexibility needs to be taken into account. So at the very top, right, and depending on how you look at it, it could be at the bottom, you have your operators. So the operator is the person responsible for running the process on the plant floor. And so as we expand on some of these roles, it's also going to be important to place them in different buckets. So an operator is going to belong to operations. And so operations is mainly concerned with getting good product out the door of a manufacturing facility. So this is going to be plant level, right? And obviously for an operator that is going to be obvious, but for some of the other roles, it's going to be a little bit more nuanced as we get into it. So an operator is a position that you can get into without any other degree or education. Of course, there's going to be specific certifications. For example, if you work in the nuclear industry, you're going to have to pass a lot of training and a lot of knowledge checks before you are allowed to operate within a nuclear facility, but I would say that is the exception, not the rule. So an operator is going to be responsible for putting raw materials on the line. They're going to be responsible usually for a single machine or an entire production line. So they're going to oversee to make sure that the line is actually producing when it needs to produce. It's producing on the right SKU or on the right batch. It has the right ingredients that it needs to produce. And ultimately, the operators will eliminate any problems that the line might have. So again, this is where the SCADA, the seasonal HMIs will come into play. Next, part of the operations team, you have what's called your mechanics and electricians, and I will call that the maintenance team for now, so maintenance team. And the maintenance team is going to be responsible for making sure that when the line does go down and the operator is unable to perform the task to resolve that issue, they're going to be the second ones to be called. And here I'm going to place an arrow saying that at this stage, you're going to be usually required or expected to have some knowledge or experience beyond just, let's say, a high school education. So there will be some positions that you can enter with zero background, but typically it's going to be your mechanic, your electrician, maybe some other trade schools that are required that will allow you to land inside of the maintenance department at those entry-level roles. And like I said, this also belongs to your plant team and to your operations. Obviously, when the maintenance team is unable to solve some of those issues, I'm going to draw a slightly different box and I'm going to put that as engineering. So engineering is not going to be part of the operations team. Engineering is often going to be its own standalone team, but usually what's important to understand as someone part of the engineering team is that your customer is usually operations. So you're working on engineering projects that deliver value to the operations team. And so what do I mean by that? First and foremost, just following the example that we had here, if the maintenance team is unable to resolve some of the issues at the plant level, usually that's going to get escalated to engineering. And so the key role of engineering is rarely going to be the point of contact for maintenance tasks or troubleshooting tasks, but they will be responsible for helping out the team when necessary. However, as I said, the key component of an engineering team is to ensure the longevity or the longer forecast and operations of your manufacturing facility. So they will be running projects aimed at reducing bottlenecks, reducing downtime, improving performance, improving quality, which is a different department that we will get into in just a moment. But it's important to understand a nuance between the operations and engineering, because operations is extremely concerned with running the plant as best as it can for the current shift, for the current week, and sometimes depending on the roles we'll get into in just a moment, but ultimately very short-sighted, looking to squeeze the most performance out of a facility versus a bit more long-sighted capital investments and longer projects with longer horizons. So here you obviously have management teams, and starting with a supervisor. So supervisor is usually a role that will be played either by a very senior operator, so someone who's been on the plant floor for a while, or it could be an engineer that's overseeing the production of your specific lines, or maybe an array of lines. But ultimately, it's going to be someone who has the oversight of making sure that everyone's actually adhering to the schedule. They're going to usually know which products are going to be running. They're going to be the liaison between the operations team and the quality team at the plant. So they're going to be running tests. They're going to understand the different projects that impact manufacturing. So for example, if the engineering team needs to run an installation project at a specific schedule, usually the supervisor is going to make sure that everything is cohesive. And of course, as an added layer, you usually have an operations super or manager that's going to oversee usually the operations of an entire area or a plant, depending on how big the operation is. So those are going to be the general reporting structure. So operations reports to supervisor, reports to an operational manager. On the maintenance side, you have your mechanics, you have your electricians, and you have some of your other trades that will typically report to a maintenance manager. But it is very common to see the maintenance team be part of operations in smaller to mid-sized facilities, and in larger ones, it will be its own task force. So we have engineering, we have maintenance, we have operations. Next, we have quality. So quality is obviously a very important topic to be concerned with when it comes to manufacturing. And of course, quality is extremely different from, let's say, an automotive facility than a food and beverage facility, than a chemical plant. They have different regulations. They're going to be governed by different bodies. So I've worked at the FDA, that's of course going to handle everything that is ingested or applied to the human body. So the quality department not only responds to internal demands, but also needs to adhere to the quality controls of the regulator that is the FDA in that instance. So quality departments usually operate on their own, but they operate with the consent to some extent of the operations. And what I mean by that is, for example, the operators will run certain tests on your line on a regular or statistical basis, and based on the results of those tests that they will report to the quality lab, there's going to be different tests or more extensive tests performed if something is out of compliance. And of course, I'm oversimplifying how things actually operate, but basically someone in quality knows a lot more about the process and the finished good and what the specifications are versus how to run the process. So they understand what the good versus bad versus need to be reworked, need to be thrown away product looks, and they know what kind of tests to run for each and different scenario. So quality departments, in my experience, are there to figure out how can we make sure that everything is good, like I said, from a statistical standpoint, but also to understand the nuances of production to make sure that we meet the quality requirements of our company as well as the external stakeholders, like I've mentioned in the food and beverage, the FDA. Usually quality departments are going to have their own supervisors and managers that usually will report different metrics to the plant manager, which we will get into in just a moment. Next, we have the HS&E. So HS&E, these are going to be different abbreviations depending on which plant you're in, but health, safety, and environment. So this is going to be the concern with human, I would say, like OSHA requirements, the work that needs to be done, the different permits, if you're going to be welding, if you're going to be in enclosed spaces. So this is going to regulate how we can perform the work safely from the human standpoint at the specific manufacturing site. And of course, I've mentioned OSHA, so that's going to be the regulatory body, at least in the US, that's going to apply different regulations. And of course, depending on the types of accidents that will happen, will penalize certain manufacturers or facilities in different ways. And this person is there to ensure that, first of all, nothing really in terms of endangering your people, but number two, if something does happen, what are the steps to be taken to mitigate the impact of that issue? And this could be as simple as a cut, for example, on a finger. This could be something dropped on the hand of the operator, for example. This could also be issues where the operator reaches inside of the guarding, so the guarding is improperly secured in place. So they're going to be doing audits. They're going to be understanding what's happening on the plant floor. They're going to be following different standards on the electrical side, like the lockout and tagout procedures. They're going to talk about PPE and what you need to be wearing in different environments, but they're also going to talk about, for example, the tie between HSNE and quality. They're going to talk about the PPE required in different areas when it comes to the safety of the food. And so also it needs to be important to take it into account what you're going to be using when performing different work from any of those environments. So depending on the size of the organization, you're also going to have a few other departments and functions that are going to be at the plant level or at the corporate level. So understand that manufacturing is a very extensive business and it requires a lot of different areas and functions. So I'm going to skip over some of them and not go into as much detail. So for example, finance, you definitely want to make sure that your raw materials purchased and the final goods produced balance when it comes to your accounting and your bookkeeping. But ultimately, those are going to be more nuanced departments. Of course, there's going to be purchasing. On the maintenance side, you're going to have people who will be buying equipment from local distributors. And so there's going to be a little bit more nuance to the picture I have drawn. However, what's really important and a key role in every single facility that you're going to visit is going to be the plant manager. And so this title is often going to represent the person who's going to be responsible for the P&L for that specific facility. And P&L, for those of you who are not familiar with the financial terms, it's basically profit and loss, how much the factory is utilizing in terms of resources, how much the factory is producing for the company or the parent shareholders. But ultimately, this is where this person is going to tie in reports from each one of these departments, and they're going to be able to synthesize the strategy for that specific facility. How many people do we need to hire in which departments? They're usually going to obviously lead the managers of those specific departments. So if you have supervisors and managers, they're all going to be presenting different data and different information for the plant manager to make decisions. But ultimately, they are responsible for the financial of the entire facility and the operations of the entire facility via the parent company. And so this role becomes extremely important because a lot of times they need to be highly versatile, not speaking only the technical language of the engineering and maintenance managers, but also understanding the quality aspects, understanding the health, safety, and environment aspects. They need to be the liaison with other bodies like the FDA. They need to be able to explain why there have been certain outages, how they're going to mitigate them. They need to be able to create strategies that are more forward-looking. How are we going to do in 3 months, in 6 months, in 2 years? And they ultimately need to be able to return the capital that has been invested in that specific facility. So the last item I do want to point out, if you're in any of these roles, what's extremely important to understand, and I think early career people don't always get exposed to, is the fact that a manufacturing operation is a business. And so what do I mean by that? It actually needs to generate capital for whomever is owning the specific operation, but basically everything becomes not necessarily a cost center, but the best analogy that I have been given in my career is that everything becomes like a bank. So if you're looking at the operator, usually the KPI is going to be your OE, or how many boxes or pallets of product you're going to be putting out. So I want you, if you're in that specific role, to start paying attention. What is the value of the product per case that you're putting out in a shift, or for example, in a week? And so a lot of times you will have metrics. For example, we're making $2 per box or per case that we're putting out, and we're able to make 10,000 cases per, let's say, 1 hour. And so you're going to be able to attribute a specific KPI to the performance of that position. On the maintenance side, again, there's going to be a cost center associated with having downtime of the facility. So the faster you can resolve the problem, the more packages you're able to produce, and thus pay for the salary of the people, reducing that specific downtime. Engineering is going to invest a lot of capital into either new equipment, automating old equipment, retrofitting equipment. So ultimately, you need to justify the very heavy capital intensive type of a cost center that's going to bring ROI once again to the operators making cases on the plant floor. Quality, same story. So if there's any shutdowns or outages as a result of quality, you need to be able to justify how you're helping operators eliminate some of those process issues, so that can they resume making packages on your production line. HS&E, of course, a little bit of an outsider, but it's always looking at the cost of not running effectively with the right equipment and being penalized by, as I've mentioned, external forces for doing so. And of course, the supervisors and managers are there to make sure that everything is cohesive, that everybody's talking, that all of these groups to some extent play nice together. And of course, that's not always going to be the case, but they all report at the end of the day to the plant manager, who's going to be responsible for the cost it took to run the facility and the product or the production results at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, and at the end of the year. If you have any questions on any and all of these topics, I'm going to be probably expanding on some of these roles. So if you're looking into them, if you have questions, if you'd like to chat a little bit more, or if you'd want me to expand on the specifics of a different organization, don't hesitate to reach out. I know that I left out quite a bit, so this is going to be at the plant level. You obviously still have the corporate side that's going to be a little bit different, and there's going to be sales and branding. So as I've mentioned a couple of times, manufacturing is going to be quite intricate. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Make sure to leave me a comment, and I will see you next time.